Hey, hey. Tobago updates. Na, 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. Na, 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 na. Wake up with Kandace.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, now we are being joined by Mr. Ricardo Alfred, who is the chairman of the Tobago Agro Business Development Company. And yes, he's online with us. So good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you doing?
Hi, good morning, and how are you?
I am great. Now, we've had some good news coming out of the capital of Paradise. The capital Paradise is, of course, that fishing vessel, a commercial fishing vessel that's been going out periodically and bringing in some huge catches of fish. So, so tell me a little bit about this recent catch that we had. We know that it's the largest so far.
Right. So, just to give you some update, yes, it is one of the largest catch that the capital of Paradise have actually done so far, and it is one of the largest catch in Trinidad and Tobago so far as well in terms of pounds. So, just to give you some idea, the vessel would have left on the 18th of April and returned on the 29th. So, it would have take them at least about 11 hours to get to St. Vincent to get some bait. They would have spent a day and a half there because they had to get in line because there's at least 8 boats that were waiting for bait. So the trip was actually 9 days actually. Between 8 days. Let's say it was 7 days. It was 8 days that they did for catching the bait, which was well done actually. In terms of pounds, the capital of Paradise, it would have caught at least an estimated close to just over 13,000 pounds in the tuna, and the bycatch about maybe 1,500 pounds in the bycatch. So they did very well. The biggest challenge right now is the bait.
Now, so far, since the vessel has been going out in at the end of 2020, how much in total has the vessel been able to bring in, and how much revenue did that equal to?
I think it's at 2020. I can't comment on that. Huh? I think it's the capital of Paradise will have come back into operation in 2022. That's the official. So it's about the mid June, I would say.
Okay.
Mid June last year, it would have come back into operation. In terms of the total catch, I don't have the exact figure, but we did pretty good. What persons have to keep in mind is that the vessel was down for almost 5 years, and in order to bring a vessel back into operation after being so down for so long, you have to gradually bring it back out in terms of the performance. Huh? So some of the pumps were given some problems. The radar system needs to be sorted out properly, but you can only do this while the vessel is moving. So now the vessel is at a very optimal, and it's very good right now in terms of the issues. So now we're going to push in the boat harder. So this was the result of that actually, in getting it back into operation fully. We were at a hammer and chisel stage, and now we're at a precision screwdriver stage. So now it's good, and that's where we are right now.
Now, with all the money that's been coming in, and I know you said you don't have the exact figure, but can you give us an estimate as to, just a ballpark figure as to, what you think that may have come in so far since the vessel has been going out in mid 2022, and whether or not that money is going back into the upkeep and the overheads for the vessel's operation?
Right. So what is happening? Up to the end of last year, they would have made an estimated, I think it's 160,000 US, right? Because we do the trips by numbers and by the year. So this trip was actually trip 3 of this year actually. So in terms of the figures, we would have did pretty well actually. There are some issues happening out at sea as relates to piracy, especially out in the open water there. So I want to be very skeptical in terms of putting certain numbers out there in the public, because it's a real situation that is happening out there, and I do just to protect the crew and stuff like that. That's why we didn't post the values there. However, we can always meet internally and have a discussion. But this last catch here, they did very well. Just to give some rough estimates, because we haven't got back the figures as officially as yet. Um, I would just tell you, if it's grade one, you can fetch between 7 to 9 US a pound. So normally it's on a high end. So at 12,000 pounds there, we could work out the maths there. So but I just have to be a bit skeptical of what is happening in the space right now as relates to piracy and stuff like that. So, and then for the guys on them, because there are some real stuff happening out there that I don't wish to discuss at this point. So I just want to be a bit cautious around these things right now.
Now, are you at a position to elaborate onto some of those things that they're being faced with out there? You mentioned piracy. Pirates boarding the vessels, are they attacking our men when they go out?
No. We have not been attacked, but we have to be very cautious of the space that we are living in right now as relates out at sea. They are in international waters. Um, they are open to many different things that are happening out there, right? So you do have piracy out there as relates to different boats that may want to attack different stuff. These are restoration. The guys go out there and they work very hard actually in terms of bringing in the catch, and they work very hard as well in terms of maintaining the safety and the protection of the vessel as well out there. So keep in mind that everyone, when you put things out on the social media, it's an international stuff that that happens. So we are very cautious now about what is happening. I am aware of what is happening out there as it relates to different things like robbery and piracy and stuff that is happening on the high sea.
Okay. Now, I mean, like I said, you're not at this point able to say, for security reasons, what the total revenue is. But how is that money being used? So you have,
Right.
over 100 US million coming in from the fishing. Is that money going back into maintaining the vessel, or is that being put into the overall budget for the THA?
Right. So what I can comment on is that the money that comes into the company, it is utilized for different aspects of the operations as relates to TACO. The US is very precious, so we have to utilize that very well actually in terms of saving it, in terms of putting some stuff out there as relates to upgrading. So what is happening now is that with the long line industry, there are some new laws coming out in terms of regulation in which we have to get certain types of hooks to be used now. The industry has to be a bait industry. You have to use live bait. So we're actually working on something called a set net. The correct name is a set gill net that is going to be used that will be used to actually catch bait. We have to work with the various division and the various division meaning fisheries and the various associations in the different areas that when this piece of equipment comes to Tobago, it will be set up because bait is a very lucrative industry. Um, all of the vessels now have to have live bait. That's in the long line industry, and we're looking at Tobago to be that industry as relates to bait. That is a very very ticklish piece of equipment. You have to have the right types of hook. You have to have the correct type of framing, the anchors. So it's a very precious type of equipment that needs to be set up. But we need some consultation with the various associations and the various fisheries department to have it done properly, because it has to be monitored as well, which will take some work actually.
And now, based on the success so far of the Capital of Paradise, will we see another vessel being acquired anytime soon?
The position that we are taking at TATCO actually is to try to get private people involved with us. Tobago only has one vessel right now that is in the long line, doing long line in a serious way. If there are private persons who wish to have TATCO manage their asset for them, we can do that and just charge them a management fee. And they, as the owner, will collect uh, whatever money is out to them. We would just take a management fee for providing the crew and that type of information. So the crew is constantly being trained. We have various systems in place. We would have worked with one of our long line vessel called the Donald, which is owned by a fellow resident of Tobago there, Mr. Miggins. His vessel has an IMO number, that's an international maritime number, and he has met certain requirements. He just have to do some other tweaking to his vessel, and then we can have a conversation in terms of building the capacity and building persons. So I'm advising persons who wish to invest in such a venture to come and have a conversation. You can meet with me and let's talk about how we can partner. The more vessels we have under our fleet, is the more voice we can have as relates to the fishing regulation. So far, out of over 30 vessels that I registered in Trinidad and Tobago, we are just one. So it's to get a stronger fleet.
Certainly. So what's your vision now for the fishing industry as we go forward? I mean, certainly coming off from the success that the capital of Paradise has been achieving over and over again. How do you see this industry in the future?
Now, fishing to me is a very lucrative environment. However, it requires a certain type of mindset from the average fisherman. Whereas we are looking at pirogue fishing, we have to gradually move away from pirogue fishing into the mother ships, where they can go out longer and they are able to catch fish at a more larger capacity and be able to supply the restaurants and groceries, etc., in a very consistent manner. So I am hoping and I'm wishing that we have a different mindset as relates to persons working together to build the bigger vessels to really make a proper fishing industry, right? So I mean that's where we are actually. I'm really hoping that the fishing industry could evolve. I'm hoping that the guys and them could work together to really build that industry. So that's where we are right now.
All
But
right,
but that's
great.
my wish for Tobago, and also to create a bait industry as well. The
Ah,
export market, what we have to be careful of the export market. The reason why we are actually utilizing Trinidad in terms of getting the fish exported from Trinidad is that you have a very short window from the time the fish gets off the vessel before it gets to Miami. Right now, we are using Miami to do the to get this fish to the relevant people. It's a very very short window. Um, I mean, if you look at the flight arrangement between Trinidad and Tobago, just to get a flight between Trinidad and Tobago is a task. So looking at so until Tobago reach that standard in terms of getting to Miami or getting to other countries within hours, then we can start looking at getting it exported from Tobago. But currently, we have to do it from Trinidad.
all right. Well, that's a good point to leave off this conversation. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Alfred, for being on with us and for sharing what's been happening with the capital of Paradise and the fishing industry in Tobago. And we're
Um,
certainly looking forward to
you hearing me?
seeing more success as the time goes on. All right, viewers. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be having a conversation with the police. So don't go anywhere.